Chapter 40, The F-Bomb. We retain something from every single hurt in life, and each is an opportunity to grow and to forgive. The F-Bomb, forgiveness, is a huge topic, and no book on happiness would be complete without it. For me, forgiveness is a selfish act. I forgive because carrying resentment towards someone or something hurts me more than it hurts them. Being angry is like wanting to kill a rat but taking rat poison yourself, as an old saying goes. And I've carried quite a few dead stinking rats around with me for years. Sometimes we just have to tell our stories until it makes us gag. In one Native American practice, when a person is wronged, the whole tribe gathers and listens to the complaint. The aggrieved party gets to tell their story in full, 3 times. After the 3rd telling, an elder repeats the story and tells the victim he or she has been heard. Then they all clap ceremoniously, and it's understood that the story is not to be told again. Hawaiians, as I mentioned, have an ancient practice called oponopono. In another practice, the complainants are locked in a room with elders and not allowed out until the conflict is resolved. In all of these examples, the community acknowledges that the individual conflicts affects the whole community, and the whole community benefits from it being resolved. Another forgiveness practice is restorative justice. It was used by the Truth and Reconciliation Commission in South Africa after the end of apartheid. In restorative justice, the injured party tells the stories of their pain to the perpetrator, expressing how it has affected their lives. And when the perpetrator is affected by witnessing and receiving this, he or she expresses their genuine remorse for the injuries they have caused. There are amazing moments of forgiveness and transformation from this form of open-hearted confrontation. We would do well to revisit this piece in the United States around the wounds of slavery and invasion of indigenous peoples. There's a sequence to forgiving ourselves and others. 4 steps. First, we acknowledge that harm has been done. Then we feel remorse and express regret. After that, we confess to ourselves and likely to the other. Then there's an effort at resolution, making a commitment not to repeat that painful action or say those divisive words again. The progression is remorse, confession, acknowledgement, and resolution by changing behavior and even thought. Many times, both points of view in a dispute are legitimate. And then, at other times, the perpetrator simply doesn't want to acknowledge wrongdoing. Or perhaps the perpetrator dies or is no longer in your life, and you're left with unresolved pain and lacking closure. These have all occurred in my life. My first wife neither wanted nor needed closure from our youthful and painful union. When her death was imminent, she wrote a group email telling all of us that she was dying. Just that. I respect that she wanted to focus on dying, even though I would have loved more time to process with her what happened, how we each contributed, and how our lives went forward from there. But that was not to be. Forgiveness is complicated. Often, what we call forgiveness is taking the blame or resentment from the story and moving on. Sometimes, when we do the moving on, it works, and sometimes it's denial, which generally leaks somewhere. When it's for real, the story no longer carries a charge, and it can be hard to figure out why we do the crazy things we do to each other. But we can quit taking the rat poison, wish everyone a good journey, and move on. But moving on's not forgetting. Healing great cultural wounds like slavery or the systematic murder of 6 million Jews might be what gives your life purpose. And if there's anger in it, if it creates bile for you, you might be less effective in reaching your goal if your goal is healing and understanding. Nelson Mandela was an exemplar of deep introspection and profound forgiveness. When forgiving feels too close to forgetting, when you simply can't forget. Try forgiving 68% of how you feel wronged and leave the remainder for the practice of hosting. Can the Tibetans ever really forgive the Chinese government for waltzing in with superior firepower and colonizing their country? Will African Americans ever completely forgive slavery and the institutionalization of racism? Why not try for 68% forgiveness and 32% hosting the story, resolving to remember, to learn, and to move on? This is what I mean when I say forgiveness is a selfish act. You've been poisoned with a violation, and you want to quit retaking the poison. You review all the drama 10,000 times, and then, out of the desire to feel joy again, you act in a way that you don't dwell in resentment any longer. In The Art of Happiness, the Dalai Lama recounts a story that has really helped me get unstuck a number of times. Co-author Howard Coulter asked His Holiness whether he had any remorse, regret, or guilt in his life. The Dalai Lama said yes and told a story in which an elder practitioner had come to him for permission to do an advanced practice that was quite vigorous. The Dalai Lama told the monk he was too old and should focus instead on a simpler endeavor. The monk, believing in reincarnation and wanting a younger body to do the advanced practice, killed himself. Coulter was stunned. He asked the Dalai Lama how he dealt with the guilt, and the Dalai Lama replied that he didn't very much, explaining that it was served no purpose to keep bringing up the painful incident. Doing so only hurt him and didn't benefit the monk, so he chose not to think about it much and just move on with his life, trying to benefit as many people as he could. That's how he honored this incident and the monk who mistook his advice.